What's going on, everybody? Greg here. Welcome back to YouTube, Rod Chronicles. And I had to redo this intro because unfortunately we had some technical difficulties on the water fishing with our JP Ross Beaver Meadows 6'6" 3-weight rod today. Took out the wireless lapel mics, and either the mic transmitter or the transmitter on top of the camera, one of them ran out of battery juice, and I was in the middle of the stream still talking, thinking that everything was going great until I got back to edit, and unfortunately there was no audio. So you're going to see me interject here in between the videos of what's going on, and then we did have intro or audio in the intro and for some reason on the outro, but I just wanted to be able to interject to let you guys know what was going on during the video. So stay tuned, check out this awesome day on the water, or time on the water, with the JP Ross Beaver Meadows 6'6" 3-weight. Rod is just unbelievable. So all the hype that I had when we got it in the mail, the hype continues. Check it out. Alright guys, Greg here, Rod Chronicles. We are up at Keystone College getting ready to do some fishing on the Tunkhannock Creek, but the reason it's so important that we're here to do that is because we're going to use the new JP Ross Beaver Meadows fly rod. So we have told you about it, we've talked about it before, we showed you pictures, but we want to actually go out and get it on the water for you guys so you can see castability. Now keep in mind, I'm no professional fly fisherman, but we're going to give you the details that you need to know on whether or not you want a JP Ross Beaver Meadows fly rod, which honestly you can tell how pumped I was before I even fished it. So I'm gonna say that's a yes no matter how it looks when I fish it. But let's get out on the water. We're gonna use the Galvin Brookie fly reel, Monarch 3-weight dry line with the Beaver Meadows rod. We're gonna throw nymphs first. I don't have the exact right line for that, but we we'll get there with it, and then we'll switch over to the dry and see what happens. So let's get on the water. We'll see you here in a bit. All right, guys. So first up, we were throwing the nymphs here in this next section of video. I had a just small attractor nymph on, hoping that would entice something to grab a hold of it and get a battle going on that rod. But literally just as I started this, and you'll see in this video, the mic cut. So I'm standing there talking, and you can see me talking. But there's no sound, so I apologize for that. So the nymph, the problem we were having with the nymph was, one, it was a tungsten weighted nymph, so it was a little bit heavier because I was trying to get down in the water column faster, and because I was using a dry fly line, it's literally meant for dry flies. It's not meant to throw nymphs, especially weighted nymphs. I was having the problem of the line wanting to slide back in, on a drift. It was trying to slide back through because of the weight. Sliding back towards the reel. So they were real quick casts. I kept getting the leader was kind of flipping instead of arcing. I wasn't super excited about it. Nothing to do with the rod. I want to make sure you guys understand that the rod had nothing to do with it. The rod will throw nymphs. I just need to put the right line on it to help it. The casts were fine. It was going where I wanted them to go. The line just wasn't set up for the weighted nymphs. So check it. There's a little bit of video here. Nothing really happens. You can see some of the action on the rod, but it casted a nymph fine. The line was just not set up for the nymph that I had on there. So we will go back out and redo a nymph test and a streamer test with the correct fly line instead of the dry fly line that we were using. So check this out. We'll be right back. Okay, so once again, I apologize for just having what we had there. But shortly after throwing the nymph in that hole for a little bit and not producing a fish or getting a bite, I switched over to a light Cahill dry fly. And this is what's going to start off this next segment. I literally switched to that fly on the very first cast. I had a fish rise and go for the sip, and as I tried to set it, I was a little too quick and pulled it away from him. On the very next cast, I hooked up with a beautiful rainbow trout. And as you'll see in the video, I fought it, and at one point, I literally thought the tip of the rod was going to touch the reel. That's how far it was arced over. I'm guessing it was probably a 16 to 18 inch rainbow. Obviously, it was a stock fish, even though that is a delayed harvest section of stream. They still stock some fish in there. So, but this fish, it fought hard, and about 10 feet from me, it spit the fly. So the precision accuracy of this rod, the dry fly line with a dry fly, was so unbelievable. It almost makes me want to go fish nothing but dry flies for like a month. So this rod, 100%, exactly the reason I wanted it. The reason that they were on the list was small stream dry fly rod. And man, did this Beaver Meadow deliver. So I can't wait to fish like little tiny skinny water streams, some pocket water. So that rod will not leave the rod box on the side of the rig. I mean, it's going to be in there at all times. So you'll see. But trust me, buy a Beaver Meadow. Dry fly action on this rod is stupid amazing. So until after the video, we'll see you in a minute. All right, guys. Well, I'm all smiles, as you can tell. We're back at the truck. Rod is back in its beautiful home, and you can tell there's only one rod in there, so it's not like we switched stuff up while we're on the stream. So the JP Ross is in the Tacoma guide gear box with the Galvin Brookie and the Monarch fly line, so it's already strung now, ready to go. So as you saw in the video, the Nymph, because of the line, was the issue. You know, it's not really meant for a weighted Nymph, but we tried it out anyway. Rod casted great with the Nymph on there. With the other line that we have from Monarch, I think it would cast even better. But when I switched over to that dry fly now, as I said when I was in the water, and I'll say it again, is I haven't fished dry flies in a very long time. I've been a nymph fisherman for 12 to 15 years now, and I mean, literally that was kind of like the religious of me fishing was nymph fishing. We switched over to that dry. On the very first cast, I had a sip and a miss. On the second cast, I hooked into that nice rainbow. Unfortunately, I didn't land it because he did spit the fly as he got close, but the castability, you felt everything in that rod. The loop on the forward cast, the loop on the back cast, you knew exactly where you were in your cast just by holding on to the rod. Fighting that fish, that was a big rainbow. That fish fought hard, and that rod handled it perfectly, and it's only 6'6". So I would definitely recommend getting a JP Ross Beaver Meadows. Until the next time, we'll talk to you soon. All right, guys, so obviously you could see that I was not joking when I told you that that rod was amazing. What was really cool about going up to where I fished and getting, literally when I got there, right after I shot the intro, I got down to the water getting ready to get the camera set up. And a gentleman who actually is a professor at Keystone, who I've known for quite some time now, I probably haven't seen in, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. He was actually fishing one of the holes that I always fish. Literally, as I got there and we talked a little bit and caught up, he landed this beautiful rainbow. So just take a look at this fish that he fights. Brings it in on a 7'6" rod. But this was about probably 2 to 3 inches, maybe close to the same size of the rainbow that I hooked into after I had seen him, but in a different hole. So this will kind of give you the idea of the fish that spit the hook. But Wade, congratulations on a beautiful fish. It was great seeing you. So guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Check out JP Ross, jprossflyrods.com. Make sure you stay tuned because you're going to see a lot more fly fishing episodes coming up on Carbon TV, on Rod Chronicles, as the Trout Trails segments start to roll out here. The boat's in, the truck's ready, we're ready. As soon as the rain stops, we'll be able to fish more. But in the meantime, we hope you guys are enjoying it. We'll talk to you soon.
Want it on camera?
Oh, we're already rolling. We got you fighting it and landing it. Beautiful fish.
That's a beauty.